This is gonna be interesting. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video begins here at Monsterpalooza in Pasadena. In my opinion, this is the second biggest Halloween convention in Southern California, right underneath Midsummer Scream. This is also where my content creator life started. When I posted a TikTok video of this place, I got 6 million views 3 years ago. So Monsterpalooza always holds a special spot in my heart. This event has gotten busier and busier throughout the years, to the point where it is wrapped around the block right now. But no need to fear, because we are almost inside. Just got my 3-day wristband. Now let's go ahead inside. Monsterpalooza time, baby. Here's this year's program magazine. Looks pretty cool. I like it. It's even got a Universal Monsters section on the back. Right in the front, they have the iconic Monsterpalooza photo op. I think today I'm gonna go start over here on the right side. Our first booth is block 4. They got some really cool figures. The main one, of course, being Jason Voorhees. This is so sick. He's literally only connected by the chain. Not sure they do that, but that's really cool. Moving to the left side, we got Jason Lives right here. Then we got the creature from the Black Lagoon. Art the Clown. That's really cool. On the right side, we got Alice Cooper, the Bride of Frankenstein, a smaller Jason, and then a Medusa with some light up eyes. Those statues are awesome, but I'm pretty sure they're very expensive. Our next booth is Super Cool Collective, and I do have to say their stuff is super cool. They have a life-size old man Chucky doll. It is sold out though. I also love these Tarmans from the Return of the Living Dead. Like, look at these 5 different versions. I don't even know which one's my favorite. I honestly could not tell you which one I would get if I got one. They've also got some pretty nice t-shirts up here. I like the old guy Chucky. But now we're starting to get into the celebrity section of this hallway. We've got Kane Hodder over here. Tom Woodruff Jr. Miko Hughes' booth is over here from Pet Sematary and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And there's a few others. Down this hallway, they also have a Bela Lugosi booth. It is honestly just all things Lugosi. I love this Funko Pop set. They've got retro Dracula and Universal monster figures. This print's really nice as well. I've actually never heard of this. It is a Rob Zombie's White Zombie vinyl. This is sick. I'm loving this Dracula bobblehead. They got some t-shirts back here as well we can take a look at. We got I Am Dracula, White Zombie. This is the vinyl we just looked at. Ooh, this one's sick too. These prints are awesome. That's so sick. Love vintage horror. The purple Dracula goes kind of crazy. Okay, actually though, this one might have to come home with me. They somehow keep getting better. I gotta leave. They've got masks back here too. Okay, I had to leave that area or I was gonna buy too much. The shirts were 30 bucks though, so it's not that bad. But now we're in our first hall of the convention. There are 2 halls and this is the smaller one. There's too many booths to show everything, but I'll show some things I like. First up, we have the House of Monsters booth. I just had to show off these shorts. We got some Halloween ones right here. The Exorcist over here. Maniac. Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. These shorts are sick. They also have a ton of hats, like a lot of hats. They've also got some t-shirts here. We got the Throw Up Girl, She Throws Up. There's Mexican, Halloween Haddonfield, Hardcore, The Crow. If you can see way down there, they got Scream 3. That's really cool. Just to let you guys know, if I hit the lottery, there will be signs. Next up is the More Monsters booth. These things are so detailed. These are awesome. They even have these mini ones that you can hang up on a wall. We've got Superbad action figures next. And let's just say these are some heavy duty action figures. I did not grow up with these ones. Donnie McCurry's got some awesome statues. For $500, we got Night of the Creeps. These things are so realistic. Monster Posse's got a booth here. I always love looking at their Halloween collab t-shirts. I even have one of their Simpsons ones. It's good stuff. Then we got Warlord Clothing, one of my other favorite t-shirt brands. They got this awesome werewolf outside. They've got so many t-shirt designs. I have a few of their shirts, like this Lost Boys one right here, but they just have so many here. And like I said, if I won the lottery, there'd be signs. I think I hear Art the Clown out here. Just made it to the Video Shock booth, and they have a VHS collection. Look at these! They've got the OG Scream. We got Halloween Curse of Michael Myers. The OG Halloween. I just love this. $5 for Jaws? They even have the Craft. Christine's pretty cool too. I'm thinking I might get these 3. Okay, purchases have been made. I even added the original Friday the 13th. I like VHS tapes and I like physical media, okay? Sue me. Don't actually sue me. Whoa, we got a booth over here called Rad. This stuff is in fact pretty rad. Like, wow, only if I had a black light in my room. This is so sick. American Werewolf in London. Yep. That's awesome. Wow. These are some awesome cosplays. So sick. Next up, we got Foam Fabber. Look at these awesome light up signs they got. We got Bob's Big Boy right here, the Cinerama, Circus Liquor, Musso and Frank's. I'm gonna say it again. If I won the lottery, there would be signs. Specifically, those 4 signs. These guys are carving pumpkins right here. This is awesome.
Thank God we have them. Middle of May or whatever it is,
Yeah.
End of May. These are from last year, literally.
Wow.
We saved them from June.
Really?
Yeah. but luckily they're still around.
Yeah, what are you carving here? Is there like a final product you got in mind?
No, really. I wanted to do kind of a ghoul, so I think eventually I'm going to get these eyes kind of carved out a little bit more, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with the nose, but I'm going to have it kind of messed up.
Awesome.
But right now it's kind of blocked out.
Perfect. That's sick.
It'll get there.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Michael's right outside. Oh no. We've been spotted. This is an insane cosplay. Wow. Now here's a booth I always like checking out. They've got these really cool lamp displays, as well as some displays that have water features. I love Alien vs. Predator playing chess. They have a creature from the Black Lagoon one. So cool. I didn't realize they had this many designs. Wow. They also have this one called Art's Darts. We got Art the Clown right here. It says step right up. We got a bunch of other classic horror icons that Art has apparently killed. Very cool. It's $2.95. Do I need it? I'm debating. I might need it. DIY Light Guy's got a booth again. Let's go see what else he's got this time. I'm liking this Friday the 13th jacket. And it's even, it lights up. The letters light up. The machete lights up. This is sick. This Halloween Resurrection one's super cool. Wow. We got the Invisible Man too. Whoa. Okay, but those are some things I like from the smaller hall. Let's move to the gigantic hall. I don't really know how I'm gonna tackle this, so let's see how it goes. I kinda wanna start at the other end and work back here. Beyond Discussing Studios has some really cool items here, including the Scary Movie mask for 200 bucks. We got Slappy for 1,000. Then we have a Goosebump mask that's actually right next to Catherine Long. This is awesome. Oh my gosh, they even have a Grace over here and a Rocky. That's so cool. Blast from the Past is here as well. They got some Killer Clowns t-shirts, Jaws, Return of the Living Dead, Terminator over here. Lots of figures. Dude, Aunt Gladys is here? That's sick.
We can't be Alex anywhere. This is the little boy, but I can't find him. I don't know where he is.
I love the cosplays at these conventions. We've now made it to Deadlight Customs booth. They've got a bunch of awesome Funko Pop lamps. That Lost Boys one's really cool. Not only do they have Funko Pop lamps, but they also have some cool displays here. I love the creature from the Black Lagoon one. It looks like he's actually in water. Loving the same one too. On this side, Douglas Tate has a booth. That's pretty cool. He played Michael Myers in the Halloween reboot? No way. How do you even do that? We've got professional makeup being applied in this booth. Wow. Abby Bell over here has some really cool figurines. They're pretty cute and creepy all at the same time, which is very hard to do. They've got ornaments too. I like the Nosferatu one. They've got crazy looking masks at the Best Little Horror House. We've got some horror knockoffs of some cereal brands over here. They also do strip have Satan. And these micro masks that are actually very cool. These things are so good. Over at Midnight Studio, they have some really cool candles here. They've got some teeth-shaped candles. We got a spine over here, a heart, this red heart down here, some skulls. Now this next booth is something I love. We got FG Square Villages, and they have these light up animatronic, and they have music, some spooky towns over here. I love this Dead Man's Cove one, and the Bone Crusher. Bones go in like this, and then they come out all packaged nicely. The Door of Doom's very sick too. I love spooky town things like that. I want to create my own collection of them. Maybe this year, we'll see. Shane Stover Arts has some incredible art pieces. This thing looks crazy. Look at the eyes. Wow. They've got a Frankenstein's monster right here, where one side it's normal, and the other side he's been scalped and brought down to the brain. And they also have my worst nightmare. I'm sorry, there's a life-size Rancor? Wow, Crow's Art has all of the Jason masks here. Which one is your guys' favorite? There's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre store? This is creepy. You might see me coming back for this shirt. Whoa, Tom Savini's just here. That guy's a legend. We've got another makeup booth over here. Looks like this one's fully done.
I'm going to hold this.
People are just too talented. Now we're walking up to Immortal Masks over here. They have worked on some Halloween Horror Nights masks in the past. Right down here we have the Luchador mask from a Scare Zone a few years ago. Here's the Clicker mask that HHN used a few years ago as well. And they've made a few others as well. So it's always cool just to come check the booth out, because they make some insanely detailed masks. Next up we got McGee FX, who have also worked on Halloween Horror Nights. And they have this insane American Werewolf in London display. This is insane. Wow. You're able to control his head moving this way as well. And if you press these down, it changes the shape of his face. So let's see. Whoa, look at the eye. This is crazy. Wow, that is so creepy. Then we've got a little bit more wolf-like over here. Let's press some of them down. Oh, there's his jaw. Oh, his eye. The other eye. Oh, it's just forehead. Wow. And finally, we got full werewolf. Look at this. That's crazy. McGee just kills the game. Ando and Grogu, hello.
Pleasure to see you.
How is the baby?
Child, he's doing quite well.
All of this over here is McGee as well. We got Thriller Michael Jackson over here. This stuff is creepy. Look at Pennywise. Oh my God. Look at this Art the Clown. We got this one over here with some salt next to him. Wow. Look at Skull Ghostface. We got the snake version of Freddy. They even got Mother? Okay, hold on. Look at these wall displays. This Nightmare on Elm Street one, what? They got Evil Dead 2, The Exorcist. Over here we got An American Werewolf in London. Back over here, look at Tarman. Yeah, this is one of my top booths right here. Oh, wow. That's so cool. Cavity Colors has a booth here too. I'm loving these Goosebump designs. Wow. Evil Dead 2 down here. We got Rob Zombie's Halloween. The Munsters. I like their shirts. They've got some cool statues here at Elite Creature Collectibles, including this T-Rex head. And then we also have Toothless. Crafts by Big Joe is back. He's got some awesome items here. Lots of Jack in the Boxes themed to Nightmare Before Christmas, as well as some pretty cool horror masks. Now I'm pretty much done with the exhibit halls. I forgot about this, but they do have one extra exhibit hall here. They do have panels that happen in here, including a Terrifier panel that's gonna happen in 20 minutes. I might say to watch a little bit of it. I'm not too sure yet. But there is one booth I do want to show off in here, and that is Disperse Home Media, because they're the ones that sell the t-shirt that I'm currently wearing. All right, but now I have a choice to either stay here for the Terrifier panel or go inside and do the Monsters Museum. All right, I found a pretty good spot, so I'm gonna watch this for a little bit and then go do the Monsters Museum.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here for our final panel of Friday night, Monsterpalooza. Hope you had a great night, and this is a great way to end it, yes? Okay. Great, all right. I'm gonna bring up our moderator for our Terrifier panel, Mr. Trevor Shand. In my big room.
Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome one and all. My name is Trevor. I'm with radio station KROQ here in town. I'm the creative director and the voice of the station. I'm also with Bloody Disgusting, host of their Brew Crew podcast. And again, thank you so much for being here. So, all right, tonight we are celebrating one of most likely the biggest success stories in horror history, a franchise that started with a tiny independent film built outside the studio system, fueled almost entirely by word of mouth, practical effects, and an uncompromising vision. What began as a cult discovery exploded into a worldwide phenomenon. The latest installment became the highest grossing unrated film of all time. More than 90 million worldwide on a production budget of roughly 2 million. Topped the box office, beat major studio releases, and helped cement Art the Clown as one of the defining horror icons of a new generation. Yeah! But none of that happens without unforgettable characters. We're going to meet some of them tonight. One man transformed Art the Clown from a terrifying practical effects creation into a horror legend, Mr. D. Howard Thornton! Also, here with us today, one of the most incredible characters in the franchise, the little pale girl herself, Amelie McLean, everybody! And I believe we're waiting on Samantha Scafidi, who's at the signing table right now, but we'll start right here.
What's up?
What the power! All right, David, we'll start with you. When you first started talking to Damien about the character Art the Clown, how much of Art the Clown was fully formed before the conversations even started with you?
Well, I was not the first actor to play Art. That was Mike Gianelli, who played him originally in All Hallows Eve. And I wanted to take things a little bit further with the character because my background they had asked for in the audition. They asked for people that had. Oh, there's Sam. Sam, what's up?
Victoria Hayes herself, everybody.
Nice of you to join us. She had to get out of the bathtub. But anyway, yeah, so like Mike had already played him, and they were looking for someone that had clowning experience or physical comedy experience, and that was my background. Did I do something wrong? Yes?
Sorry.
It's Mama over here. But anyway, so yeah, I was like, this is perfect for me. So I talked to Damien, and we were kind of like going through it all like together. When I was like, tell me about this character. Like, what is his background? What motivates him? What's his origin? He's like, let's come up with that together. So that was like kind of an experimental thing. So I was very glad that we did the pizzeria scene pretty early on in the film, because that's when we really solidified where the character was going to live. Because I was doing all this clownish stuff with the character, like getting up and walking away with a little junky step, and all the production of the ring and all that kind of stuff. He's like, that's something I didn't think about, because like when Mike played him, he just played him like a guy in a costume. And I wanted to take it. I was like, well, he's a clown, and I think that will separate him from all the other silent killers out there. If there's more clownish aspects to the character, that physical comedy, the broad facial expressions, I feel like that will separate him from the rest of that pack of silent killers. And I was glad that he was okay with that. So we've just experimented with that going on. It's always a fine line we have to walk with the character, because we don't want to go too silly with things. And so we will sometimes film two different parts of a scene. We'll do like a few takes very serious, and then he's like, okay, Dave, go crazy, have some fun, and then I will add the clownish stuff, and we'll see what works. So we can, during the editing process, you can see, oh, do we need it to be a little funny here, or do we need it to be a little more serious here? And so it's an interesting tightrope walk that we're always going on for this character.
Yeah, I was going to ask, at what point did you realize the comedy wasn't necessarily working against the character?
Comedy is against the character?
Against the horror of the character.
It depends on the scene. It depends on the moment. Like the scene where he takes the gun out and kills Tara in the first film. That's something that Damien's like, I don't want any of this to be funny at all. I don't want any emotion on your face. It's just, you're furious, you're just done. I'm like, cool, let's do that. So sometimes he knows exactly where he wants Art to be serious, but there are other times like, let's just let his fun side out. That's usually when he's just fucking with people out in public, which are always my favorite scenes to film, like the pizzeria scene, the costume shop scene, and of course the bar scene and the mall scene. I mean, that was a blast. So yeah, fuck them kids.
And Samantha, I've never had an opportunity to speak with you ever before. It's so nice to be able to
Lovely to
talk to the
chat
lady
with
behind
you.
the makeup, which is
Really
awesome.
intense.
So talk to us about your entry into the franchise and meeting Damien for the first time, and kind of what you knew about Victoria as this was all starting, and did you ever imagine that she'd become such a central character?
Oh man, I tell people this all the time. When I read the script, I didn't grow up in the horror genre. I knew nothing about slasher, so I read it, and Damien literally writes what you see. And I remember being so just like, oh, I can't do this. Like, I am definitely turning this down. And then I think like 2 months passed, and I heard back from him, and he was like, I want you to do the role. And I was like, great, yeah, I'll do it, because I must have forgotten like what had happened 2 months prior. But I thought, you know what, I'll take a paycheck. No one's gonna fucking see this movie. And I kid you not, when we sat down in the theater in Lincoln Center, it was like a little horror weekend. I was so just impressed by everything that Damien had done for what little we had. But in terms of it going on to a second and a third film, I don't think any of us knew it was gonna become a franchise let alone be as successful as it is now. And I definitely thought every film that I have done, 1, 2, I'll say 1 and 2, I thought I was always dead at the end of them. And then I'm like the little engine that could, you know, she just keeps coming back. But yeah, it's been very magical to kind of go on that journey with everyone, and Damien specifically, as he discovered, you know, where he wanted the story to go, and specifically Vicky.
Let's roll a clip of one of the first times they meet, the Vicky chase scene, if we will.
So, fun fact about that, we only had 2 plastic bags, which I don't know why we only had 2 plastic bags. He could have had 20 plastic bags. It probably cost nothing, but we had 2 takes to get that. And I thought, I got this, it's gonna be easy. And I panicked so intensely that I ripped it off immediately. And Damien's like, okay, well, don't do that again. We have 1 more plastic bag. And so, so dumb.
Yeah, and also the bird part, that was just me messing around and being funny on set, because they're like, we gotta do it again. I'm like, fuck you. And they caught that and they just thought it was funny. And they're like, hey, we'll keep that in there. So I'm like, great.
How do you guys choreograph something like that looks very dangerous to
It was
do?
real.
Make it look real, right? Well, you said you freaked out at the bag, right? For the first time they did it. Is that why?
I was very young then, so I was very naive. I'm like, yeah, put a plastic. I was that actor who was like, I want it to be real, so really choke me. Like,
Actually
really
choke you with the bag.
Yeah, I don't want to act, you know what I mean? That was. But now I'm older and I become a hypochondriac, and I'm like, okay, I could probably die, so let's not do that. But no, we were very indie, so it was everything was talked through. Damien's amazing, always checking in to see, you know, are you comfortable? This is what we're gonna do. How do you feel? So I always felt taken care of. And yeah, the adrenaline just is pumping. But yeah, we would map it out.
Yeah, we also had, like, if it was getting too much for her, she was going to just whack me.
Like a
so
safe word or something.
Yeah, because there wasn't a safe word, because there's no way she could talk. So she was gonna, like, just tap my hand.
Also, the truth is like the first time I did it, I immediately ripped it off. I mean, I had the that's the thing. It was the temptation to not rip it off was the hardest thing. I was always in control.
Yeah.
When people talk about Victoria, they usually talk about art, trauma, possession, transformation, but I've always kind of felt that the tragedy of Victoria is Tara. Do you think Victoria ever truly recovered from the loss of her sister, or is every version of Victoria that we see carrying that loss?
I love this so much. Even Amelie turned to me and said, you're gonna love this question. What I really love about the Terrifier franchise is the fact that 2 of the main female characters are Vicky and obviously our final girl, Sienna. And you have 2 women who undergo immense trauma, and one that overcomes that trauma but at a cost, which is Sienna, and then you have Vicky who succumbs to that and she descends into madness. And I think that is a very realistic portrayal of what trauma can do to an individual. I think the trauma for Vicky specifically is not only the loss of someone that she loves more than anything in the world, which I think, you know, I can identify with. I have brothers that I absolutely love, and the idea that something could happen to them in that way especially is horrifying. But then it's also that compounded with her identity literally being taken from her, not being able to look in the mirror and remind herself of her own strength. And I think that trauma from, you never overcome trauma. You know, that's something that you carry not only in your mind, but in your body and your physiology. Like, I advocate a lot for people who undergo domestic violence, because I myself experienced that 10 years ago, and I learned firsthand how our body literally carries that trauma. And I think she carries that in her mind, in her body. And yeah, and she's just a character that wasn't able to overcome that, sadly. But I think that those characters also need that representation. Girl, and she bangs her head, she's taunting her and she's torturing her to the very last, and then she's just like, okay, I'm done. And she releases. So Vicky's not in control. And yeah, and at that moment, she's completely released, and then she's just a physical vessel for this entity, which I think is a representation of trauma and the madness that can, you know, that one can succumb to because of that trauma.
And how many fans of Little Pale Girl, right? Incredible. When she comes on the screen for the first time in Terrifier 2, our minds are blown. Such a cool character. So Amelie, you're entering this world later after the first film, obviously. As the new kid walking into set and kind of seeing what David and Victoria have built over the years, what was it like stepping into that environment for you?
I was 10, so I was definitely the youngest one on set by far. I was pretty nervous at first, just because I had big shoes to fill. I knew that I wanted to do good on this set, and I wanted to prove to Damien that I could be a good little pale girl, and I could be what he wanted, because I knew that this role was really important to him. So I just remember the first day walking on set, right before we filmed the possum scene, I met David in costume. I did not meet him out of costume. I met him in costume, and 20 minutes later, we filmed the possum scene. So basically the possum scene was just us getting to know each other, because I had met him literally 20 minutes prior. But yeah, I think I know I loved it, and I think what helped me to be comfortable on that set was knowing David and knowing Damien and knowing that they are really good people. And just because he's creepy in a costume doesn't mean that he's like mean in real life, because he's the opposite. He's super sweet. You're like the opposite of your character in real life.
I would hope so.
So that helped me a lot when I was little, just knowing that everyone was sweet in real life.
And David, what do you remember about working with Amelie for the very first time?
Oh my god, it was just like, the funny thing is I met both of them the first time in full costume and makeup. Like
They
Sam.
did no introduction.
By design? Did David want that?
I know, it's just how it happened. Just like Sam.
Tell the truth of what scene I met you in. In makeup.
Yeah, the first time she really met me, because we briefly met one night where she was coming in to do some stuff. And the first time she really met me was when I was in the full the moo moo and the meow meow. So I was just like, hi, I'm David. Nice to meet you. And I'm very cold right now. I'm sorry. Welcome to Terrifier. It was interesting. So no, it was funny. It was like the first time I actually met Sam outside as just myself is because she showed up to set the same time I did, and I was talking to her, and she had no idea who I was. And I was like, "It's me, Dick." She's like, "Oh my god." So yeah, it's kind of weird way to be introduced to your co-stars in full makeup and costume. So yeah, and like with Amelie and I, we just played. It was just like, hi, let's just do this. Let's play with this dead possum.
Well, you're really good with kids.
What's that?
I said you're very good with kids, especially in the makeup.
I used to be an elementary school teacher, so it's just like, yeah, they had me in charge of kids. So yeah, in Alabama, so you take that for what it is. Yikes. But yeah, so it was just fun. It was just, we had a lot of fun. We actually, there's so much not deleted footage, just unused footage from just that scene alone. We were just doing all these weird things with this possum. Like I was doing a puppet show with it. And I was pretending it was a dog, so that's why I had the stick at that one point. I was like playing fetch, and of course it's just lying there, just not moving. Then I'm like, play dead. Hey! Like we were just having fun with this thing, and it's just like, it would just been Jonathan just standing there for 5 minutes going until we throw it at him. So it's just like, he was like, well, we gotta cut some of this out. I'm like, oh.
Amelie, what was it like getting into the makeup of Little Taylor? Have you ever done anything even close to remotely to that before?
No, I had not, and it was a very big process. It took about 3 hours to get into makeup. I had sclera contacts, which cover your whole eye, and they're extra thick, and so I had to have an eye contact specialist on set at all times to numb my eyes and put the contacts in and take them back out. And the thing that was hard about that is those type of contacts can only stay in your eyes for about like 20 to 30 minutes, because your the tissue cells in your eye will start to die because they don't get oxygen. So they had to keep taking them out, putting them back in, and then Damien would be like, oh, sorry, we need to film another scene. I didn't like how that one turned out, so then I had to put them back in again and take them back out. And then the hair was a whole nother process. That was my real hair. So just the knotting of that was a whole thing. And then we would finish filming in like the middle of the night, and I would have 2 hours of detangling to do. And I'm tender-headed, so, but it was worth it. It was amazing. The process, the end, what am I trying to say? The end
Process, the end process.
The end
result. The end result.
The end result was worth it. They glued hair on my arms. That's something that not a lot of people know. I have people in my Instagram comments that are like, you have really hairy arms. I'm like, it was glued on, not actually my arm. But yeah, just a lot of different Easter eggs and little small things that...
Her teeth are like reversed too, like the uppers are her upper teeth are the lower teeth and the lower teeth are the upper teeth.
Yes.
Bleh.
At one point, I'm not sure if it made it into any of the scenes, but I had teeth on my fingernails.
No way.
Yes.
Forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember
think
seeing that.
maybe you can see it in like a scene or two. I'm not sure, but I remember that was like a prototype at one point. I had like teeth growing out of my fingernails.
So amazing. My God.
Damien's a genius. He comes up with all these elaborate ideas, and that results in a long makeup process, but it's worth it.
And emotionally, everything you know about the world has been shattered at that point, that character. Did you see her as a survivor at that point, or as somebody who'd already began transforming into something else?
I do believe that we all have that survivor in us, and I do believe she was holding on as long as she could. You know, that end clip is before, obviously, she goes on the news reporter show. And what we learn on that show, or the show with the news reporter, what we learn is that in the time that she left the hospital, she was isolated and she was also ostracized. So not only did she go over, you know, she lost her sister and she was dealing with the actual trauma from that, but people also, instead of coming to her aid and giving her love and showing up for her, they actually basically pushed her away and she became isolated with her trauma alone, which is another, I think, very real thing. So I believe she's a fighter. You saw it in Terrifier, but I think all of that as the basis and then compounded, you know, because there's just so much cruelty in the world, and she experienced that firsthand with the reporter, which is obviously the moment that she snaps. I think that moment is the beginning of the end, I think, and along the way she's doing everything to keep it together.
We're always just kind of brainstorming ideas just for funsies. If we ever got that opportunity, it's like, yeah, let's go ahead and just put the little breadcrumbs out there in case we actually can make a sequel to this. So it was there. I was always hoping we would be doing more sequels, because I like the character a lot and I want to do more things with him. I thought there's a lot more stuff we could play with him and play with that universe in. So I'm glad we've gotten that chance to do that.
It's fascinating too. So by the time Terrifier 2 comes around, Amelie enters the picture right at the beginning, and the franchise really expands beyond that slasher film and turns into just more elements of fantasy are brought in, and the supernatural, and of course we meet Pale Girl. What did Damien tell you about the character? Maybe who or what she was? You know, we've heard, Damien never really fully explains her. Some fans think she's Emily Crane. Some think she's a demon wearing Emily Crane's face. Some think she's something even older. What was Damien telling you at the time?
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
I know as much as you guys do. I have my own theories. I really like the Emily Crane one. The theory that she's Art's past victim and she's come back in the little pale girl's body. There's also a theory that she's Art's daughter. I don't know. Trying to think of what else. There's a theory that she's just a figment of his imagination. Some people think she's the devil.
All the above.
Literally, it could be anything. And I think that's part of why I enjoyed playing her is because I didn't know exactly what she was. I think if I had been told specifically what she was, that might have limited me a little bit. Like, I think the fact that I had no clue was part of why I played her so, like, creepy and just deranged, because I didn't know what she was. So I kind of just got to make it up as I went.
I always had a theory too, and I have no idea what Dayton's going to do with this, but I was saying this to him way back when I read the script, was like, I love that idea, because I wanted to tie, because there's a one character I always loved in the first film, and I always want that character explained more, because she seemed to know about art. She's like, you know, he is the cat lady, where she's like, he's doing this because he thinks this is funny. And it's like, she knows all this stuff kind of about him in some weird way. And the baby doll that she has in the first film is named Emily. So I've talked to Damien about this, and I was like, this was always my theory. It was like, but who knows what he's going to come up with, but I always thought that could have been Emily Crane's mom, and that's why she went crazy. She could not deal with the trauma of losing her child, so this baby doll has become her baby Emily in her mind. This is her actual daughter that was killed by Art earlier. That's my theory. I have no idea what Damon's going to do with it in part 4, if he is going to do anything with it, but that's what I thought would be cool. So I'm just putting that out to the universe.
I love that. How about you, Samantha? Did you play Vicky with any association to the Pale Girl or the Pale Girl entity at all?
In 3, yeah. I mean, by 3, I understood that Vicky was possessed by the entity of the Pale Girl. That was something that Damien made very clear to me. And I think when it came to approaching the character, Damien had a very specific vision of Vicky. He loved the idea that she was nuts. She had the most horrible potty mouth. She's unpredictable. She's dark. And that, you know, the little pale girl is a demon. It's this entity. It's pure evil. So I had a lot of fun with that, because I think I always say to people, I had a lot of fun playing the villain, and I don't know what that says about me, but you know, I could show up to set and it's very black and white. She is pure evil, so I could just get to set and basically fuck with people. But in like Vicky as a survivor in 1 and even 2, that's a real place that you have to go to, and that can be extremely challenging and hard to reach. And sometimes, as an individual, you don't really necessarily want to go there because it could touch upon your own stuff. So that's why for Vicky in 3, it was very exciting to play. And I did have fun torturing some people on set.
I'm actually curious, what elements of what Amelie brought to the Pale Girl went into your performance of being possessed by that entity?
Well, I mean, Amelie does an amazing job at physical, physical expression. Especially with just the way she moves and as she tilts her head, and it's very extreme. So there's definitely remnants of that into Vicky. Is that kind of unpredictability and that kind of jarring movement. I think those are definitely iterations that have been pulled from the amazing performance that Amelie does.
Oh, thank you.
So David, you spend obviously the first movie kind of tromping around by yourself, and then in this one you have a partner in crime.
Yeah.
You guys get to, it's almost like a twisted comedy duo.
That was great.
Did it bring anything out in your portrayal of Art that you really loved digging into and having a partner?
Oh yeah, because I like it. You got to see some other aspects of Art in this too, because he gets annoyed with her at times, which I liked. Like he's like the scene where they come after he's just been resurrected again. Take that, Jesus! I've come back more times than you. Here comes a lightning bolt. But it's like he's tired, and she's over there just honking the horn in his ear, and it's this beautiful callback to the first film where Art does it to Victoria and is honking at her. It's just like, I love that now he's getting annoyed by it. It's like, oh, will you stop it? It's like, I have got a headache right now. I literally just got my head reattached to my body. Will you just let me chill the fuck out right now? And I just love that bit. It's just like, this is great. It was those little things, because it was not like they were totally buddy. It's more like, it was just like this, they have to work together. It's like this, like, he's a lone wolf type of character. It's like, okay, I understand this entity is what has brought me back from the dead twice. I need to partner up with this thing. It's like, there's a whole, like, goals that he's given, direction that he's given by this character. He likes to just cause chaos. He's like, no, you gotta get to work, you gotta get Sienna. You know, it's like, oh, okay, whatever, fine, I'll do that too. But can I kill some people on the side, please? Can I just blow up a mall of kids? That'll be fun. Can I please? So it's this fun little dynamic we were able to work with there. It's kind of crazy. Then later on, we have the whole entire scene with the family. That's where, okay, he's kind of like grown more attached. It's like, okay, you're actually kind of twisted and fun. Okay, this is kind of, let's really, and I really wish we could have done the full scene that we had originally written. We had to cut like half of that scene.
It was like a 20-page scene.
Yeah.
And we only shot like 10 pages.
It went through some dark places too. I was like, how are we going to get away with what we're doing to Gabby, especially?
That's just a lot.
I don't want to say any of that stuff because it might be in part 4. I have no idea.
Okay,
but
yeah.
we did some horrible things to just torture Sienna, what with Gabby and everything. It was just bad.
I love how they all thought it was bad, and I was like, what were bad about this?
I'm not telling you because it might be in part 4. I have no idea.
I guess it was bad, but it didn't seem that bad when we were doing it. Maybe because I was the one who was doing it.
We had fun though. It was fun. It was just like, but there was so much more that we were going to be able to do together, and I was like, oh my god, this is insanity.
I thought the laundromat scene is brilliant, and the interplay between you two. What do you remember about filming that scene?
Coldness.
Yes. Yes.
It was so cold because we had to turn off the heat in there because it was so loud and all the sound, you know, whoever was picking up all the bzzz, all that. So like, we got to turn off the heat, Dave. We're sorry. And I'm like, but I'm basically naked. I'm like, great. So I was just more concerned about being cold and also just not being inappropriate around a child. So like, all the stuff where I'm not really wearing anything, she wasn't there for. I made certain, like, I do not want, I would feel so awkward having a child on set during anything like that. I'm like, this is awkward. So I was like, so they said she was done for the night, and I'm like, okay, David, time to get out of your clothes. I'm like, oh god.
So like the facial exchanges and you guys would change, she wasn't even there for those?
For some of it, like when we were doing patty cake and stuff like that, yeah. But a lot of that, it was just like, no, that I had pants on, thankfully, so I was like, yay. But it was a fun, crazy night, though.
I remember having a lot of fun with the eye poking.
Yeah.
That was super fun. I don't know why. I just remember, I have a strong memory of just having fun doing that whole part of it.
Oh, I also had the cops come that night, too.
You did? What? Yeah.
Yeah, every single film, there's been something involved with the police showing up. And I'm like, oh, God.
What stage were you in when the police came to the laundromat?
Wearing my underwear, and that was it. And it's all because there was a scene where, like, you know, where I'm walking in, so we're doing exterior shots. And by that point, people were starting to go to work. It was early in the morning in New Jersey, and someone apparently had called into the police and said they saw a clown covered in blood going into that laundromat. And so we're sitting there, and it's doing the whole scene where I'm just doing the patty cake where she's not there, and I'm just doing it to the air, and all of a sudden, whoop, whoop. And as soon as cop car show up, I'm like, oh, shit. Because there's a story about the first film where the SWAT team showed up, and I was like, oh, here we go again.
SWAT team showed up?
Yeah, I'll get there, too.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, I'm like sitting there, and whoop, whoop. I'm like, oh, and Tammy's like, Dave, you know, it'd be really funny if you just totally go and fuck with the police right now. I'm like, no. No, and so this female cop that comes out, I'm like, oh, great, even worse. Here I am like this, and she comes in, she's like, so we hear that there's some clown covered in blood in here, and I just kind of lean forward, I got newspaper covering me up, and I'm like, hi, it was me. She's like, can you stand up for him? Like, you don't want me to do that right now. She's like, oh, I see why we were called. Like, you're filming a movie? Yeah. So that was fun. In part one, they showed up the night that we were doing the, well, there was this like very Jerry Springer argument going on outside at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was bored while they were doing Tara's death in the other room, shooting her in the head. You know, and I'm watching the argument, and the ladies see me, and I'm like, hi, I forgot how I looked. So I'm just in full clown makeup with blood all over me. I'm like, hi, in this abandoned warehouse in Trenton, New Jersey. And so they're like, ah! They run off, and I'm like, oh shit. And about 15 minutes later, Damien, our producers, come in, and they're like, hey, Dave, we got someone here that wants to visit you. And I'm like, oh, at that time, like, our producer had just been doing some work with Tom Sizemore, and I thought he was going to visit the set. So I was like, oh, sweet, okay, well, just tell me when to come out. And I'm like, okay, well, don't come out till we, okay, I'll come out when you tell me. And there's this, like, roll-up garage door, and so I'm like, waiting, they're like, Dave, come out. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, boom. I come up, and it's like 15 of New Jersey's finest. And they're like full riot gear. Like, they had the shields, they had the assault rifles. I think a guy had a grenade launcher. I was like, and my butt just puckered. It was like, and I was like, this is where I die. And I just like stifled out this little, what's up, guys? And there's silence. And I'm like, oh, shit. And then they all just start laughing. And I'm like, oh, thank God. They're like, yeah, man, if you had come out first, we would have shot you in sight. I'm like, I believe you. Because our porta potty was out there. So I was so glad I was not using that porta potty, because I'm like, I gotta go back in. Because that was scary. And one of the guys was afraid of clowns too. And so they're all wanting their pictures, like, hey, go over there with Joey, get a picture with Joey. He's like, no, man, I can't do it. No, go away. It's like, dude, you got a rocket launcher on you. I think you're gonna be fine. We filmed the Santa scene in. Yes. So we didn't know this the whole time we were filming there, and we're making jokes about the fake ice snow that we were using, because it looked like powder of some sort, if you know what I mean. Got it, yeah. And we're all joking about it. And we didn't realize, because later, like months later, one of Damien's friends worked for the FBI. He's like, yeah, we've been watching you guys film Terrifier 3. And we're like, what? Yeah, it's like, yeah, they had the largest drug bust in Staten Island history, and it was at that location. That they had that whole entire place under surveillance. So they were watching, and we're like, we had no idea. But we would have these weird people show up at like nights, and they were for security for the club down there. I'm like, but there's no one coming to this club. So like, these people would just stand there like, yeah, we're here for security. And I'm like, this is weird. I had no idea. So what's gonna happen in part 4? Yeah, exactly.
All right, just left the panel. But down here, we can see there's more celebrities. We got David Howard Thornton right here. Emily McLean's is here, and then we got Samantha Scafidi. And then here's where Alice Cooper is. All right, there's 5 minutes until it ends, but I'm gonna go into the Monster Museum and go check it out really quick. We got some Monster Maker right here. We got some old classic Universal monsters. And they have a Spinosaurus, an Indoraptor. And then over here, we have a statue from the Crow. That is really good. Wednesday Adam looks pretty good too. Look at all of these busts over here. They're so detailed. This guy doesn't look like he's doing too hot. I love this creature from the Black Lagoon. Full scale. It's a stop motion called Beyond the Cemetery Gates. That is really cool. Wow. See the fog inside the house? That's so sick. I love these characters, especially this little ghost guy with the pumpkin pail. Wow. We've got some more creatures here. Very cool. I like this wolf creature. Walt Wizard created some horror icons. We got Ash over here, Hannibal Lecter, Art the Clown, and Leatherface. There's also Frankenstein, Michael, Jason. Wow. These are really cool. We have some actual screen-worn costumes from Hocus Pocus. Oh my god, they have the haunted mask. Wow. This is the original one from Goosebumps. We also have the haunted mask novel. Over here we got some Chucky displays, including Christmas Chucky. I like this one a lot. And we got Hard Eyes. All of Sesame Street's here too. They got some really awesome stuff here. And here's the final table. And there we go. I was barely able to squeeze in the Monster Museum, but we did cover all of the events. That's going to be it for Monsterpalooza 2026. That was awesome. I love Monsterpalooza. They got some great vendors, some great guests. It's just an overall great horror convention. But thank you guys for watching. If you like videos like this, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and of course that like button. But with that, I will see you in the fog.